Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I'm the best reporting on the Eagles. Listen, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I gotta let you know that all of her season stuff is still available. Make sure you tap in with my guys at the Print Champs. Also, listen, I know the Black Friday sale is over, but you can still DM me. DM me before you make your purchase, and I'll definitely make sure I give you a discount code for savings so you can be like the rest of the city that's stepping in unison with all their Hurt Season merch, snapbacks, beanies, buckets. You know how we doing. Also, my people at the Truth brand, we still going up with the True First Jalen Hurts t-shirts as well, so make sure you tap into that as well. Just massive support for our QB1, man. You know how we doing it with this 10-1 season. The Philadelphia Eagles play the Tennessee Titans 1 o'clock. You know, the more this game comes down the pipe, the more and more I can say with confidence that I just don't like the Tennessee Titans. I don't know why. You know, I've been looking at a little bit of their interviews and how they've been speaking about the matchups. They pay respect to AJ. I'm not talking about that. But I just don't hear none of them saying what's really happening, how high of a level our quarterback is playing at. In fact, I think Rabel had a little, you know what I mean, a little shade, if you ask me, talking about Jalen Hurts ain't the fastest guy. But he don't got to be, man. He doing what he got to do, man. But let's talk about these injuries, man, and how important this could be for tomorrow. The injury report for the Philadelphia Eagles this Thursday. Garner Johnson didn't practice. We know about the kidney situation. Limited participants. Bradbury got rest. A.J. Brown rest. Fletch rest. Landon Dickerson rest. Brandon Graham rest. Lane Johnson rest. Jason Kelsey rest. Zach Pascal growing. Robert Quinn rest. Isaac Seumalo rest. Slay rest. Devontae Smith growing. Josh Sweat rest. Full participant with the ankle, Patrick Johnson. Now listen, I'm not mad at the rest that some of our OGs getting, man. It's a method that's been working for us. We 10-1. Let's move on over to what the mother dudes got going on in Tennessee. Did not participate. Now, we only had one guy that didn't participate. You know what I mean? But these guys did not participate. Danico Autry, defensive end with a knee. Treylon Burks, illness. Nate Davis, knee. Running back Derrick Henry, he didn't participate, but it wasn't injury related, probably rest. Cody Hollister, neck. Cornerback Elijah Molden, growing. Defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, ankle. 4 participants. Kicker Randy Bullock. The center was a full participant. Ben Jones coming off a concussion. And Ryan Tannehill was a full participant. So they got some guys, you know, that's going to get some playing time that really didn't go through a lot of the practice regimen. How fortunate have the Philadelphia Eagles been to not get hit with that one damning, you know, season injury, season-ending injury that often cripples teams with good records around this part of the year. Jordan Davis is slotted to come back this week. The following week, Maddox could be coming back. And the week after that, Zach Ertz could be coming back. Do you guys understand that we are 10-1 with Jordan Davis just now coming off IR, our first-round pick, Maddox, one of our best cornerbacks, about to come off IR in another week, and Dallas Goedert slated to come off IR in the next 2 weeks. This is just crazy that the team is still finding ways to win, and the team is still being really productive down the stretch. This is an important win for us, man. I know a lot of people don't want to say that, don't want to admit that, but those are the facts. This is an important win for the Philadelphia Eagles, and there are some opportunities to attack this team. They're not really that, you know, scary to me on the defensive side of the ball in terms of, you know, wide receiver coverage. So they will be, you know, opportunities to expose these guys in the passing lane. We all know Jalen Hurts can make these throws now. You know what I mean? I look forward to a big passing day from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just can't wait, man. The Eagles going to take care of business. I'll throw a little score prediction out here on this one. The Philadelphia Eagles will take care of business in this one by a score of, I think we put up a 30-burger. I'm going to say 34-21. The Philadelphia Eagles will take care of these dudes at home. And you know what I mean? Their only shot, really, is if Derrick Henry can get going consistently enough to drain time of possession and keep our offense off the field and keep us out of a rhythm. That's their only shot. That's the only method that has proven to work, you know what I mean, in 11 games. So, you know, we're going to see how this thing shake out. It is a Mojo Friday, you know what I mean? So we're going to hear in the second half of this video from the one and only big homie Trey Thomas and myself as we talk about the matchup more in depth versus the Tennessee Titans, and we give you all a little insight on Mojo, man. Make sure you download the Mojo app on the App Store, you know what I mean? We ain't here promoting no gambling or nothing like that, but Mojo is the best sports stocks market in the nation, man. You know, via app, you can do amazing things, man. We've been talking about it for a while. You already know what it is. So shout out to y'all, man. Enjoy the second half of the video. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This video is brought to you by Mojo, the best sports stock market that you're going to find, period, man. You listen, we've been doing this Mojo thing for a couple weeks now. You know what it's about. You know we got the one and only big homie, Big Trey in the building. Post-Thanksgiving Trey. How you doing, Trey?
Man, I'm fantastic, man. I'm juicing, man. My wife was like, you know what? We ate so much for Thanksgiving. You know, we need to go on like a juice cleanse. So right now I'm at the juice bar. I'm 4 drinks in on my daily allotment of juice, of assorted juices.
Juice is so good for you, though, but people don't understand how expensive it could be, especially if you make it a habit. Juices be costing some money sometimes, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, next week, I expect you to probably still be on the wagon, so we're going to see how that go, man, with the juicing.
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. We'll see.
That's good, man. How'd you enjoy the game? I know you was in the city for the Packers game. Saw you on the field and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was always good whenever you can get around the guys, being there for my man Hugh Douglas and Trent Cole's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame. You know, that was a lot of fun to be around the guys and just kick back and just watch a really good game. You know, the Eagles came out there, did what they needed to do. You know, it's not always pretty, but they go out there and put up points and, they come out of there with a win.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, well-deserved to Hugh and Trent Cole as well, man. That's definitely an achievement for a lot of Eagles fans that's, my age growing up. We was kids seeing them dudes ball out. So definitely a crazy achievement. So we got the Tennessee Titans this week. I kind of expect a monster game from the passing game. So something's just telling me that either Smitty or AJ, of course, AJ could possibly get off. It's like a retribution game for him in a sense. He's been taking a lot of digs at his old team all season. Like, what wide receivers would you bank on if you had to pick some to invest this week in Mojo?
I mean, if I had to really pick one, I would definitely go AJ Brown. He's going up against his former team. I think that last week, against Green Bay, he was coming off of whatever little tummy issue that he had, so he'll be ready to go this week against his former team. And I also think too, Devontae is going to continue to progress, man. You can only hold these guys down for so long. I mean, I think a lot of defenses have been trying to take them out of the game and doing whatever they do, and the Eagles just keep reworking their offense to suit that. But I mean, I think that this is now also another game for Devontae Smith to also continue to keep adding on to his game plan.
Yeah, and one thing that helped me realize the amount of weapons we have is these weekly talks we do about Mojo and who we should invest in. Because when you're talking about wide receivers, Quez Watkins is another guy that could potentially, do some damage this week. So, I expect a pretty strong passing game and a pretty strong passing attack from the Philadelphia Eagles this week. But, we do have Derrick Henry that we got to worry about. And, stopping the run has been, a point of emphasis the last couple of weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like this is the ultimate test for us. If we could slow down Derrick Henry, I feel really strong about seeing Saquon two times left with the rest of the season to go. So, you know what I mean? Do you think that's like, for the defense, you think that should be the focal point, the game plan, stopping Derrick Henry and everything else should come secondary, or just a balanced attack?
I think you have to stop Derrick Henry. I think our secondary can take on the quarterback. I'm not really worried about that. It's a more on you saw what happened against us with the Washington, where they came out there and just pounded the ball right down our throat and came out of there with a W. We don't want that to happen again. So I think that the first thing is just stopping Derrick Henry. I think that they need to go back and whatever Cincinnati Bengals did, you need to implement that. Whatever they were doing to shut him down, to make sure you got to him before he even got that engine moving, then that's what you need to be doing as a defense.
I agree, man. And it wasn't just the Cincinnati Bengals. He's had a little tough sledding because I got him in fantasy. He had a little tough sledding the last couple of weeks. So, you know what I mean? I agree, man. You got to look at the tape. I think almost you got to kind of sell out. I would sell out, and I would let Bradbury and Slay do what they got to do. You know what I mean? Now, Gardner Johnson went down last week. Very unfortunate for us. He leads the league in interceptions. But I like what I'm seeing out of Reed Blankenship. And I think Reed Blankenship could also be that extra hard-hitting tackler. He's a very short tackler. And I think a game like this suits his, his personality and his skill set, a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was sitting in the box with Brian Dawkins when right before he got that interception when CJ went down. And when Blankenship got that interception and they showed the replay of it, Doc was like, man, that's not someone that's, a rookie that's coming in that just stepped out there and just fell into an interception. Like, he drove on that ball, played it with confidence, knew what he was doing, and went out there and made a play. And, after he gave him a thumbs up, I was like, well, hey, Doc, I trust your eyes. I'm riding with you too. So I can't wait to see how he continues to develop with his time in here. Because, a lacerated kidney is not something easy to come off of, so you might be seeing a lot more of them as we get down the stretch.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, he flew to that interception. He was in the right place at the right time. He actually played a little cat and mouse game, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game in Aaron Rodgers. So it was just, refreshing to see that we got that kind of depth that we didn't even know we had as fans, just guys that cover the Eagles in general. So I'm looking forward to see what Reed Blankenship could bring to the table. You know what I mean? This stretch is going to be important. Like, what's the timeline for a lacerated kidney? That's over 5 weeks, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never had that issue. I don't know. I know that they said Selleck. No, not Selleck. What's my man name? Tight end. Man, I can't. I just drew a blank. I can't believe I just did this. I don't know, but I know that people have had it already. But it's not something that Ertz had it last year. Yeah, he had a lacerated kidney and came back from it. So I know it's more of a pain issue just because, it's not something that you can just go in and stitch up and just deal with. So, I don't know. When you start talking about lacerated kidneys, man, that sounds important. What I'm saying? It's not like an ankle or ingrown toenail. That's something that's really important. So, I don't know what the timeline is for something like that.
Yeah, and luckily for us, he doesn't need surgery. He doesn't have to go on IR at the moment. Well, I think he might have went on. I'm not sure, but either way, Blankenship is next man up, and that's something that we got to, I guess, kind of be happy about because he's shown some positive steps forward in his development in his young career as well. So, AJ Brown, are you for players, kind of going back and forth with their old team, knowing that you got to see him, later on down in the season?
Not really. I'm more focused on, I kind of like when players are just more focused on where they are now instead of, going back and like jugging back at your old team, especially when someone that you're going to have to see. Because what if they come out there and there is such thing as the bulletin board material. Now, some players like to use that as a catapult to make them play better, but I don't know, if they come out there and they like, all right, we're going to take you out of the game plan, then now that forces our hand and have to look for other ways. And that's where I think you'll see Quez Watkins and Devontae Smith continue to rise.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of, when I used to play sports a lot in high school, I kind of was that guy that talked. And then you notice you start getting double teamed. And then you notice once you miss, it start getting in your head. And for a guy that's coming off for the last couple of games that A.J. Brown is coming off, I think being a little quiet and just letting your play talk probably would have went more of a long way, on the field this week. But regardless, it is what it is. There's been a lot of MVP talk about Jalen Hurts. From your perspective of what you've seen so far in this season, do you think that Jalen Hurts is that front runner for MVP?
I think he's right up there in the top. I think that he's really been doing he's been having a heck of a season, and he's been checking all the boxes that everybody had questions about him coming into this season. But I think that he's definitely right up there in the hunt. With just in this last week's performance, to come out of there with 100-something plus yards rushing, and I know a lot of people are like, well, hey, he's turning into a running quarter, whatever that is. He's finding a way to win, and he's putting the team on his back, and he's going out there and he's doing what it takes to win. Because it's just Patrick Mahomes, and Tua that they're talking about right now that are the top three. And if of course there's always some Eagles bias from us, so we always like, hey, Jalen Hurts is the MVP, hands down. But I think that he's definitely right up there.
Yeah, I agree with that. The narrative around MVP has changed so much over the last couple of weeks. People like to say, well, is it a stat-based thing? Is it a team record thing? I think that with the combination of stats and wins, I think that put Jalen Hurts at least at the top, at least one of the top two guys this upcoming season. But I'm biased. He's the MVP to me. What I mean?
Exactly.
Right, he's the MVP to me. We 10-1, best record in the league, and the performance that he put out there. Becoming the Eagles quarterback with the most rushing yards in this Eagles season, you got to think about the quarterbacks that we've had. McNabb, you had Vic, you had Cunningham, you had some guys that really had some wheels. And for a guy like that, everybody doubted so much to put on performance after performance and not be one of the reasons that you lose a single game this year. You know what I mean? He was the big question mark. Now he's become the savior. If you don't have Jalen Hurts at quarterback, I don't think you're 10-1. I think your record is still good, but 10-1, you know, that's something that you can't sneeze at. So you've played on some really good teams, man. You've had good records. I believe you was on the roster that went 9-1 before. When you talk about chasing that #1 seed, how much rest is too much rest? Now, theoretically, say if we lock it up by Christmas, you still got like 3 games to play. Do you know what I mean? What do you do now? You know you're not going 17-0 no more.
That dream is over. But I play. You know what I'm saying? Like I play my guys. Even if you don't play them the full game, you play them at least a quarter or a half. You treat it like a preseason game, because what you don't want to do is have them sit for so long. Timing is a big part of it as well. And when you don't play, you know, that timing gets a little off, and you know, you don't want to have a game like that going into the playoffs. You want everybody firing on all cylinders. So to say, okay, hey, man, we got 3 weeks off, we're going to take those 3 games. Nah, I don't see that. I think that you should at least get out there and play at least the first half of some of these games, you know, and see what you got. And if you got a situation where you can keep some of these teams out of the playoffs, then you go ahead and you put it to it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good point. You could definitely play spoiler with the #1 seed. That's definitely, you know, a good situation to be in. I play as well. I agree with you with that. I mean, you're going to have the bye anyway if you get the #1 seed, so you're going to be forced to rest anyway, and you know, see who you got to play. But you know, division matchups in the playoffs. Have you ever played in one?
No, I don't. I think we played New York one time in the playoffs.
I did a lot of research. I couldn't find it. I'm like, have they ever played it? But from your perspective, do you think that's a tougher matchup? Because that very well can happen this season with the Philadelphia. If it ends today, every team in the NFC East is in the playoffs. Like, how do you feel about playing the team for that third time, and that third time being a postseason game?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, you're still going to come in and at least it's someone that you really know really well. You know, something that, you know, that you can go out there. You have a good game plan. You have a good feel for what that team is going to do. I think that one of the things I think that's really crafty about our coaching staff is that they keep bringing in little gadgets that's been to the foundation of the team, you know. So I'm not really concerned about playing another team for the third time in the playoffs. You know, hey, if it has to be done, I think that this coaching staff is good enough to come up with some new wrinkles that just can add to the game plan to come out of there with a W.